After all the wires have been removed, take your syringe with some epoxy that has been thickened with wood flour and fill all the seams that have not yet been completely filled. For the stems, stir wood flour into some epoxy until when you remove the stirring stick, the epoxy stands and does not sag back down. Pack it into a dental syringe and squeeze a heavy bead of this very thick epoxy down the outside of the bow and stern stems. This seam will be filed round later. Build up enough epoxy so that you'll be rounding epoxy rather than wood. Let the epoxy harden. The cloth will drape better over a rounded edge. First, file the excess epoxy off the seams. Lay the end of the file down on the center of the plank and file the epoxy bead at the seam flat. Do both sides of the seam until the seam has a sharp corner and the excess epoxy has been removed. Then file and sand the seam round using long strokes so the seam remains smooth and fair. At the bow and stern stems, where you have a heavy epoxy bead, file the sides flush with the panels. File a smooth curve in the bead at the curve in the stem, then round the bead.